adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. It's a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives.
My name is Jeff. I have a 13-year-old and now 11-year-old and a guest co-host this time. We have Bill from A Gamer Looks at 40. Welcome, Bill, to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, man. I have an 8-year-old and a 3.5-year-old. So
Perfect.
That's where I live in the dad world. But I appreciate being on the show. This is so fun. I listen to you guys all the time. So this is definitely a treat.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Hey, man.
For anybody that's wondering where Trevor is, Trevor left Jeff in charge, and that's always a dangerous thing to do.
I don't know why.
Jeff has the power to look at all the things and, send out live streams when we're not supposed to. Anyway, Trevor will be back with us next week. He's off on vacation for a bit, giving himself a gaming break. Maybe he'll come back with more gaming stories. But right now, Bill and I are here to get this episode out and talk about Fallout. Fallout TV show has just aired. It's one of those things where I don't know what your first take on Fallout TV show. First of all, you've watched a few episodes, I think you said.
Yep, I've watched the first couple with my wife, which has been pretty good.
Perfect. It's I was kind of scared going in. I don't know what your first impressions were. Like the trailer looked good, but I'm like, crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
Kind of please. And I know you're a big Fallout fan, so it's like one of those. It needs to hit right.
It's one of those for me. It was like, please don't screw this up. But there's been a good trend of video game TV shows lately with The Last of Us and everything else. And I didn't see The Last of Us. I'm over The Last of Us. I'm just over it.
Yeah.
Sick of it. I'm just kind of burnt out on it. So I haven't seen it. I will eventually. With Fallout, though, I was like, oh, this is a franchise that's ripe for a show because it won't be Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 or New Vegas. It's going to be a new set of characters. It has to be. And that anthology style of Fallout really lends itself to a TV show. So I was really hoping they'd get it right. What's your first take on it?
I am actually intrigued. I'm glad, like the first couple of episodes, really well done. And this is something also that I got my 13-year-old involved with.
That's
so
fun.
I'm watching it with him, and this is like the first adult, because it's very adult. It's an adult show. There's lots of violence.
Yes.
And I kind of made that judgment call as a dad and a gaming dad, right? Like, hey, you've never played these games. This might be something to kind of like, baby step you into something. And it was kind of like one of those things where like, I'm not sure how this goes. So I actually watched the episode twice. I'll watch it once myself just to like kind of see what I'm up against. And, my 13-year-old gets a lot of questions, so I could prepare those and then watch it with him. And so I'm watching every episode twice, and I'm 3 episodes in. So
interesting. Okay. So that's actually a very, very smart thing to do. You're preparing for the eventuality. But the thing with the Fallout show is it's so cartoony violence. It's not offensive. It's like Looney Tunes cartoon violence, like Fallout is. Like Fallout is not meant to be like this intense, visceral experience. It's goofball, silly heads blowing off.
Yeah.
And that's so much different than like a real violence, like something like that looks real and has like real weight to it. Again, I'm only 2 shows in, so I don't know what I have in store yet. But so far it's been I think they got the look of Fallout perfect.
Yes.
It looks everything from the vault to the weapons to the costuming. The wasteland looks like the wasteland. They got the look of Fallout. I mean, I don't think they could have done better. I'm still waiting for good characters, though. I'm still waiting. The characters seem like caricatures to me, and Fallout has elements of that. But so far, I'm in so far.
Okay, that's good.
I'm still on the fence if it's gonna be like great or not. But the first 2 episodes I think were enough to get me in, and now I have to like just. And then my wife is watching it with me, who knows nothing about Fallout. She's not a gamer at all, and she's been enjoying it okay as well.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, for a non-Fallout fan or somebody that's not really exposed to it,
right?
Does it does it hit like
It
not the same, but like is it explained enough? Because like I find that there is like mystery, but I understand the mystery,
right,
whereas you're kind of just presented like why are there vaults and why is that a big deal?
right.
So
I did have to explain. I explained what a ghoul was
okay,
because
right,
again, I explained Vault-Tec is bad. I'm sure Vault-Tec is going to turn out to be bad because Vault-Tec is bad. Spoiler alert: if you don't know, Vault-Tec is like the worst company in the world. They're terrible.
yeah,
She likes it as a show. The violence is, I think, a little much for her sensibilities, and there's some weird like sexual stuff in there too that I thought was off putting. I'm like,
just
odd.
unnecessary, kind
Yeah,
of
like
like
unnecessary, but
yeah,
because that's not again a Fallout thing. But I'm just waiting for these characters to kind of develop a bit because right now they're very caricature. They're fun caricatures, but I'm hoping for them to develop a little bit. Just give me a little bit more on those characters, and I think as I get to the third and fourth episode, I'll get there. But
yeah, I think so
so
too, and
far, so good though. I'm enjoying it. It's fun, visceral silliness right now.
yeah, yeah, and
Fun.
again, like again to your point, I think they nailed the look of Fallout,
So good.
and just I'm actually surprised at the amount of money they had to put into this thing because I'm like, that's an actual vault, and oh look, the wasteland, like, and the
Yeah.
graphics are pretty well done, and even just the power armor and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's gonna look goofy when they get it out. I'm like, no, it looks
Nope.
good, and they
It
have
looks awesome.
multiple.
And of course, they're doing all the references as Fallout fans like. It's the T60 armor. They
Yeah,
even from down to like the sound effects of the stim pack, how she's going through her character stats at the beginning was very cute and clever. So it's all of these little Easter eggs for Fallout fans that I appreciate. That's
yeah.
not really detracting from the main story, which is nice.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's something again to note with watching it with my 13-year-old who knows nothing, but will go down the rabbit holes, and they are currently researching every vault there ever has existed in this lore. I'm like, whoa, okay, I don't know if you're up on a lot of the vault lore, but like there's some questionable things in there, and I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
they're
they're
trying to
all
present
yeah,
something,
yeah.
but
They're all bad. There's
yeah,
not Vault 33 is the only one that was like sounds like it was any good. 'Cause there's nothing that, and I think there's the one in Fallout 4 that's actually still running, I think, okay. And but
yeah,
I don't remember that quest line. But anyway, it's yeah, I think it's fun. I think I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to finishing it off because I'm a big fan and it's got enough Easter eggs for me to hold me. And I'm just waiting for these characters to really develop. But once they do,
yeah, and
open.
that's a good point to finish the season because I have not finished one Fallout game uh ever.
Okay.
Uh it's one of those things that I always install
Mhm.
and go through, kind of like the Skyrim, Bethesda games in general with me. I
Yeah.
will have a great time in the world and I will never finish it. I will always get sidetracked, and I think Trevor actually is the worst for this. We'll have side quests and you just get caught up in them, and then you're just I don't know, it just falls off the radar
It
and you're just
does.
going about other games. But I'm wondering about you. You seem to be a pretty, you know, Fallout fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you finished them? And
Yep.
is there one that you haven't?
I haven't finished the first two, 1 and 2. I
Oh,
tried
okay.
playing the first one maybe 6 months ago, and I just had a hard time. I installed it and it wasn't running properly and clicking was hard. I just had a hard time with the mechanics of it, so I figured I would just, like, give it a rest, and I couldn't get it on my Steam Deck to work, which is a problem because I am
Oh,
Mr. Steam Deck.
yeah.
So I figured I may give it another shot because I really wanna experience 1 and 2. I hear the stories are phenomenal. I've beaten 3 many years ago. I've done a couple of runs of New Vegas, which is my top 5 game for me.
Okay.
And I recently started another Fallout 4 run, and I did the exact same thing you did. I played up to the point where you get to the Institute, and
Yep.
I'm like, "Oh, this is boring." And I'm like, "Well, maybe." I'm like, I always side with like the railroad. None of the factions are great in 4. So I'm like, maybe I'll side with the Brotherhood this time. I don't know. And that's boring. And the Brotherhood is just like
Yeah.
so I just like, you know what? I'm done. I played Far Harbor, which is amazing DLC, and I played a couple of the other DLCs. I'm like, I'm good. And now I'm playing some fan made DLCs as well. The fan made
Oh,
mods. Yeah.
okay. Well,
And
this
actually good.
no, no, like that's one that I haven't really dealt like I haven't got into the whole I've done um kind of the mods that we'll get rid of the weight and certain other elements in the game that just kind of makes the game easier for me to enjoy. But I haven't gotten into like the fan made mods of just, more of the story driven. Here's
Yeah.
other extra elements.
Yeah, they're
Go
really
to it.
good. There's some amazing stuff people are doing. Fully voice acted. There's some
Wow.
of these fan made mods are 20-hour experiences. Easy. Like full like Fallout, like a Far Harbor style. Yeah. The one
Wow.
I
Okay.
played was about 4 or 5 hours, but it was a really interesting story. This called the machine and the something. I forget what it's called, but it was good. It was interesting. It was clearly fan made, but it was good. So
Yeah.
I'm now exploring some of the fan made mods, which are fun. But
Well,
I do love me some Fallout.
that's good. I'm trying to get my 13-year-old to kind of experience the Fallout games, just from a perspective of here's an RPG,
Yeah.
right? Action RPG or whatever the kind of genre it's defined as. But because they play so many other games that are kind of like those, they're not 2D, but they don't have the kind of depth that these games kind of present to you, and there's choices that you need to that there's really some of them are gray area, right? There's no black and white, good, bad.
Right.
There's just, oh, okay, I kind of have to either pick the less of two evils or like this thing doesn't really matter, or this thing will end up, taking away something. And I have a horrible time with trying to make those decisions because I always want like the best ending and I always strive for the quote
Same.
unquote best ending. And it's kind of hard to me to play those games without a quick Google search because I don't know if you're the same way because I'm like, oh God, this decision might like screw me down the line, and I kind of want that faction and I want to be with them, but I don't know.
I also I've shed that over the years, actually, very recently, actually. I've shed the need for the non-optimal playthrough.
Oh, perfect.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've shed the need for the optimal playthrough. I'm getting okay with not having that perfect run and being okay with the role playing that's involved with that, right? If I say something stupid to Preston in the Minutemen, well, I just said something stupid, Preston in a Minutemen, that door's closed. Oh,
right.
well, but you're right. That was a big thing for me. Like, oh no, I can't. I got to go back because I'm used to, the good answer being the right one. And sometimes it's more fun just to be chaotic. My wife today, she's like, we're going to keep watching Fallout. And she's like, kind of makes me want to play the game. And I'm like, eyes like saucers. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
But she's not much. She doesn't like, she likes old games. If it involves R1 or L1, she's done. She's out. She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did say she doesn't like watching me play games because I'll be honest, it's boring. I'm wandering around searching for wrenches and screws and a Braxo cleaner. Like no one wants to watch me do that.
Right.
I think what I'm gonna pitch. Here's my pitch. I think I'm gonna let her decide the choices, and then I'll do all the scrounging for gear and stuff outside of our together time. And then save the story beats. Hey, James, I have a story beat. And let her pick the choose your adventure. I'm curious if she'll pick the good or just turn chaotic evil. Side I've never seen of my wife.
Right.
I don't know. I'm kind of interested. Let her. Do you want to play do you want to side with the railroad? Do you want to side with the Minutemen?
Yeah.
Do you want to side with Caesar's Legion? Do you just want to go full out evil and let her do the choose your adventure book part of it? So.
See, now that would be interesting. I have the flip side of that where
Yep.
my kid will, again, I've mentioned this on the show, level grind for me. So I could give them like, go out, find me all this stuff that I need to build with. And then I'll do the story because they don't really like, I don't really care. I want to do the things, right? And it's just one of those tasks on my list that, yeah, I liked it at the beginning of maybe, but by hour 40, I'm kind of getting tired of it. But maybe this is where my 13-year-old comes in and be like, all right, you've seen the show. Go out and collect those caps. Go out and do all the things that, dad needs you to do, right?
I need adhesive. Please go and get adhesive.
That's right. Part of this, though, is that Trevor left me a note before he went on vacation. And he told me this because, like, on your show, we're asked a lot of questions, to start the icebreaker. And he's like, you have Bill on your show. You need to ask him a question. I'm like, all right, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do it. So blame Trevor. But
I will blame him. That's fine.
On the subject of Fallout, you are going to the vault, right? You can take any video game that you want into that vault, knowing that this is probably the last game you may ever play. And if not, then it's the game you will play maybe forever with the apocalypse.
Wow.
So which game out of all the games in existence right now, it doesn't have to be like at the time period or whatever, what game would you take in and why?
I think I can only do one.
Yes.
That's so hard.
Only got room for one. Everything else, like,
Yeah,
just your
that's
kids
fair.
or
That's
something.
understandable. That's fair, right? Yeah, I have one. I have one part of my backpack that's not filled with Dogman books
That's
or
right.
stuffed
Yes.
animals. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think I would take my ROM hacked. Well, I guess that's not. That's a bit of a cheat. It's a ROM hacked 3DS. But I would take, if it's just one game, I would take NHL 94. That would
Okay.
be that, because I can play NHL 94 every day and not be bored. And since it's a sports game, I can play a full season, I could play playoffs, I could just do shootouts. And NHL 94 is just such a fun pick up and play game. It's one of my comfort food. If I have 20 minutes to burn, I'll probably play NHL 94. So
That
I think that's my pick.
that's a good pick. Again, Trevor would be a big fan of that. That's one of his one of the faves of the NHL series that he's
Yeah,
been looking to
it's
get back into. So
wonderful. Yeah. So good. See, not
Yeah,
only did I successfully answer the question, I answered it to Trevor's satisfaction.
you
All right.
did.
There you go. That
Flying
works.
colors. Yeah, extra points for that one. But we were speaking of comfort games,
Yeah.
and on that note, I will say that my kids definitely have their comfort games, and I will speak to my own experiences, but then want to get your thoughts on it.
Mhm.
I have a lot of games in this house. Being a gaming dad with access to more, I would say, information and games in general over the years. Like I understand there's many different types and stories and all these things, and I kind of want to get my kids on board with a bunch of different experiences, right?
Okay.
So there's a lot here, and we have subscriptions, and I have my old Steam library and everything. And out of all those games, my kids who have tons in front of them, they have their comfort and default ones, which are specifically Geometry Dash and Terraria, which if you're not familiar with, Geometry Dash is basically like almost like a mobile game with you just like jumping a square through of these various maps. And now they discovered like a whole bunch of level editors that you can do, and they're making their own maps in this game, right?
Gotcha.
So that's
Yep.
where they're kind of at, and they challenge each other. So it's been good for, that kind of
Yeah.
sibling kind of rivalry, but it's
Bonding as
fine.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bonding. Yeah. That's cool.
right.
Into that.
And then Terraria, they've put in one of those. It's like the hours are countless because I can see the hours they put into it on Steam, and like there's hundreds in there, and they play with their friends, but it's this 2D pixel kind of Minecraft-esque game. This is out of everything that they have, and these are the defaults, and they were playing them again today. So it's one thing that I kind of understand it. Like I have my own comfort game. I've mentioned on the show a lot of the times it's Witcher 3. It's just my comfort game. I don't know. There's a lot in it, and I could just
Yep.
spend my time in that world. But I'm kind of like, it's just part of me, like kind of not resist it, and I don't want to like change it because obviously it's something that means a lot to them. But I'm like, there's so much other stuff out there,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it's like back in my day. I'm going to the back in my day.
That's it.
I had to spend all my allowance to get like the one cartridge that was like $100, and I would live with that thing for like 8 months, and that was like my life because you couldn't afford anything else.
Oh.
And now it's like you have all this choice, and they still go to their one or two comfort games, right? And it's just kind of interesting to see where it doesn't matter all that choice, they just kind of zone back in. So I'm wondering, is that the same on your side? Like, do your kids have a comfort game that they kind of zone into, or is it something like they kind of pepper in a variety of experiences, knowing that you're still kind of in that young phase, but maybe it's more, oh, they found their way, they're going to stick to this game and they're going to come back to it. That's what it is.
I think for my son, I think the closest he has to a comfort food game would be Shredder's Revenge. So Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
Shredder's
okay.
Revenge. He loves side scrollers and he likes beat 'em ups. He really likes platforming games. He'll get into a game and once he gets frustrated, he's learning to just stop. But then when he stops, he goes back to Shredder's Revenge usually. That and Mario Kart for him, I think, are probably his two where he lands the most as far as comfort food. Because again, he loves the Ninja Turtles. He's seen the movie. He's watched the most recent animated series. Now he's watching the older animated series. Eventually he'll watch the ancient animated series. When I was a
Wow.
kid, he loves anything Ninja Turtles can get his hands on. So that's, I think, his comfort food right now is that
That
game.
that's amazing to hear that it kind of links in with all that other media, right? Like
Yeah,
again, you can watch the shows, you can even probably
he
go out and get the little
loves it.
figures and
Yep.
like
I actually had to bug my mom because my figures. So he goes, Daddy, I want the Ninja Turtles figures. So I'm like,
wow,
okay,
okay. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. So I'm pricing. I'm like, well, I have all of these. I have the originals. I'm pretty sure I know where in the bowels of Grandma T's house they currently reside. So I called my brother, who still lives in the area of my mom, and said, Bobby, do you know where my Ninja Turtle stuff is? He's like, I'm pretty sure I do. Fast forward 2 weeks, a little box comes with all these like old Ninja Turtle figures from 1989, 1990,
Yeah.
whatever they were. And he's loving them. So he has a combination of the new ones because he had the Mutant Mayhem ones because he had this. They're new. But I got him like a play set, and he has this. He has a bunch of figures. I'm sure there's more hanging out in that time capsule called my mom's home. But that's a yeah. So he loves it. So I think that probably would be his comfort food game.
Yeah. That's funny because I was gonna go to the time capsule kind of just somebody going out in the back and just digging. All right, I think it's like 40 paces from the house. We gotta dig here, and there's this safe we're gonna pull out with all your figurines and everything else.
Yep.
um it's kind of nice to have that and just be aware of that for your own kids, right? You're like, oh no, I'm going to keep all this stuff because they're going to ask in 40
Yeah.
years they're going to come back and want this stuff, right? And I still remember, I've mentioned it on the show, my mom selling the Virtual Boy at a garage sale for $10.
Oh.
And it was just like one of those things like, well, you're at college, you don't need it, it's big. Like, it was a big box.
Yeah.
And
Totally. Oh, with
you
the box and everything.
Oh, dude,
Ah.
this could have been. Oh, I could have made a lot of money on it because
Yeah.
somebody had a great steal. They're probably like, "Oh my god, start the car, go!" Right? Like,
You are somebody's amazing story.
yeah,
You're someone's amazing story.
or
That's awesome.
yeah. This sucker. Price's Virtual Boy. Yeah, so it's like one of those things that kind of sticks with me. Maybe it's that trauma response. Like, oh no, I'm gonna keep up these things. I'm gonna, put them away because I know they'll want them, or possibly want them in a
Right.
decade or so, and we can lug them out. But that's nice to hear that again. The comfort games are starting there even at such a young age, right?
Oh yeah.
And see how long that kind of goes. Kind of on that note, with your kids, what are they playing these days? I always talk to Trevor about what his kids play and what my kids play, but what about you?
Well, my daughter's still a little young to be playing games, but the house is now full of Princess Showtime. That is what we are currently involved in. My son, my wife picked it up randomly, like she was just at Target or Costco or one of those, and saw Princess Showtime, and she texted me. She's like, "Is this game good?" I'm like, "I haven't read a review on it, but it's Princess Peach. I'm sure it's fine." So she just picked it up, like, "Hey, I like to check this out with the kids." And so my son's been playing. I think he's maybe 3/4 of the way through it at this point.
Okay.
And I haven't really watched him play much. I've watched him play some, and he loves it. He's having a great time. It's really charming and fun. I saw like maybe the first couple of levels. I haven't seen much since. I've kind of been in Final Fantasy world.
Yeah.
So my life has been Final Fantasy because of the show. But he really seems to like it. I'm ecstatic that he likes it because a few years ago we were visiting we were on a ski trip in Colorado, and he has older cousins, and they were playing Mario Kart for the first time. Now my son was experienced, but these kids were playing it. His older cousins were playing on their brand new Switch for Christmas.
Oh wow.
Which
Okay.
imagine that ski vacation. We got this
Yeah.
house in Breckenridge. Everyone wants to go skiing. All the kids want to do play Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What they want to do,
Yeah.
much to the chagrin of my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Anyway, because it's like we're in this like really cool house at this really cool ski resort. Don't you want to get your shoes on? No, no, no,
No.
So anyway, so he's playing, and he is a fan of Princess Peach. He's always been a fan of Peach.
Yeah.
That was one of his mains. So he plays as Princess Peach, and his cousins gave him some crap for it. Like, oh, why are you playing as a girl? Like one of those things.
Yeah.
I got really annoyed because I'm like, what's the matter with why? Because Princess Peach is awesome. Damn it.
Yeah.
Ever since then, he has always been very sheepish about Princess Peach. He's always been like, oh, I don't like Princess Peach anymore. I'm like, don't listen to your dumb cousins. No
Yeah.
offense. No offense, JR, if you listen to this. Your kids aren't dumb, but they told him that he doesn't like Princess Peach anymore. Not good. So
Yeah.
I'm really psyched that he's into this game again because he's like, I think, rediscovering his affinity for Princess Peach because he's like, oh, she's so cool. She's a ninja now. She's a detective and she's this. So I'm like really psyched. I'm really glad he's playing again because he was a Princess Peach fan that, some older kids, how little
Yeah.
kids are. They don't want to be lame. And I'm like, no, Princess Peach is awesome.
Yeah.
That's my main in Mario too. Always
Yeah.
Princess Peach. So I'm really psyched he's into it. It's fun and it's a very lightweight game. There's not much to it, but it's a good time. He's having fun with it. And my daughter, who she's 3.5, she's not really playing anything yet, but she knows all the Mario stuff because she's seen the movie and she's seen all that. She loves Princess Peach. She was Princess Peach for Halloween last year. We were all Mario characters. So
Perfect.
she, of course, loves Princess Peach. She's like, Princess Peach. She's very girly about it.
Yeah.
It's like stereotypically girly about it, which is bizarre. But yeah, no. So I'm happy with it. I'm glad he's rediscovering his affinity for Princess Peach because I don't want to lose that.
No, and I will kind of add to that my now 11-year-old Princess Peach was the go-to in like Smash Brothers and
Yeah.
even Mario Wonder. Like, so like, she can kick some butt, right? It's not like,
Yeah,
it's not anything, and it's just it's not funny, but it's just how that again that nature kind of comes around even these days where it's just like, no, I thought we were kind of over this.
yeah.
Like,
That was exactly my thing was like, I thought we were done with this. Like,
yeah,
haven't we evolved a bit beyond this? And the answer is no, unfortunately.
yeah.
But so my son is rediscovering his love of Princess Peach. I could not be happier. I'm like, yes, cool.
Yeah, I will recommend that game. Is absolutely awesome. By again, Nintendo crafts such great experiences, and it's
Yeah.
something that you can, if you want to leave your kid alone with and just have them kind of go through it
That's
without
exactly it. Yeah.
frustration, right? Yeah, like it's just one
Yeah.
of those games that like they can have their fun, let them do it, go nuts, right?
Yeah.
Whereas some other games, there might be some barriers with like, reading or over, it's
Yep.
complex or there's, some violence or something. But that was a good recommendation. So
No, it's great.
any other dads out there that want to pick up some Princess Peach? I think you have 2 recommends from this show.
Yeah, it's fun.
So,
It's a fun lightweight game. I'm looking forward to playing it myself once he's done with it. I'll probably pick it up and roll through it. It seems like good fun.
awesome. I think we'll wrap it up there, Princess Peach and all. Once
Well, man.
again, thank you, Bill, for joining us on the show. Again, Bill from A Gamer Looks at 40. You can find him on socials, right? Like you're out there in the
All the socials, mainly Twitter and TikTok. I just set up a YouTube channel because it was easy and it auto imported all the episodes from my podcast.
Nice.
So it's great. I was like, oh,
That
this
is
is awesome.
perfect.
I don't have to do any work. I wasn't going to bother with it until I realized there was no work involved. I'm like, oh, great. Perfect. This is awesome. Fine. Throw it up there.
That is great.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, A Gamer Looks at 40, it's a podcast that if you dig this show, it's a nostalgic look at the history of games as told through the stories and recollections of the everyday people who enjoyed it. So every mainline episode could have up to 12 or 14 different voices on it, all talking about a particular game or topic or franchise. And yeah, these fine gentlemen have been on the show a number of times. It will be on our upcoming Final Fantasy series that's now ongoing. They will be featured proudly. Trevor will not know anything about Final Fantasy, and it will be a hoot. That was so fun. It came out really good.
Yes.
But yeah, Gamer Looks at 4040.com has everything you need. Just go there. Makes it easy.
That's great. Again, thank you for being here. And for anybody else listening to this show and you like what you heard, again, you can find us on Spotify, Caster, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and I think now in YouTube Music, as well as pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. And again, that's New Dad Gaming. And we're out on socials too with Bill at newdadgaming.com and all the other handles with Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't have a TikTok yet, but maybe it's coming. We'll see.
Who knows?
So yeah, again, if anybody has any questions, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Again, part of the show is just hearing from new dads and other fathers and their gaming experiences. Maybe you've tried out Princess Peach. Maybe you have, an interest in the Fallout show, and maybe you've reinstalled Fallout 1 through 4. Like, please let us know it's one of those things that we look forward to hearing about. Maybe there's a comfort game again you can suggest to us that we can have at the show and maybe introduce our kids into. Please again reach out at newdadgaming.com. That is it for today. Again, my name is Jeff. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. And
my name is Bill, and I have an 8-year-old and a 3.5-year-old.
And just remember, just because you became a dad
doesn't mean it's game over.